Hi there. I just got the Amplecig Mace Tank, the Mace-X Tank, and maybe the Aspire Revvo has some competition. I don't know. Check it out. It's VapeAM. We're gonna review the Mace-X Tank. This thing may give the Revvo a run for its money. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. Good morning. I'm Eli Juicy Jones. This is Orbital Vaping Headquarters, where we are going to review the Ample Mace Tank today, the Mace-X Tank. I'm sorry I keep saying that, but there's a Mace Tank, which came out previously, and there's the Mace-X Tank. And X means it's extreme and it's better than the last thing. We all know what that means. X. It's the 90s again. Everybody, this is VapeAM, the only morning show in the entire universe for vape ever that's ever been thought of or conceived and will ever happen in the future ever again. Anyway, we're here every Wednesday and every Saturday. And we are also going to be at the West Coast Vape Expo right there on July 8th and 9th. Come join us right here in Bremerton, Washington. It's a short ferry ride from my house. I live downtown. Come with me. We'll get on the scooters and on the cars. Take a short ferry ride. We'll go out there for 2 days and have a great time. We are streaming right now on YouTube. This is great. Hope everybody is having a great morning. Everybody who came live, Dude Mang, Angelo, Double D's, Hi M's, Michaela, good morning, Josh Weist, Fumagino, great to see you, Ed. You guys had quite a conversation while you were waiting on me. I had a little technical difficulty earlier, so we started up a little bit late. And it's Comcast, and man, we've been on the phone with them a lot. Comcast gives me a hard time. What they do is they ignore our upload speed. And so, you know, we pay for a certain level of service, and they barely ever meet that. And you guys have been here as a witness yourselves, and many times our show has been trouble because Comcast decides that on a whim, they're going to ignore our service call. Anyway, but everything's working great now. Weird Will, everyone, great to see you. We're going to look at this Mace Tank. This thing looks like it almost gives the Revvo a run for its money. Really, we're going to open this thing up and take a look at it, and I'll tell you a review of it. I've got like a little list of pros and cons over there and the whole thing. If you guys are interested in these things, I want to thank Heaven Gifts for sending this thing to me. Thank you so much, y'all. Y'all are great. Y'all can find a link to this thing into the description right down there, along with some replacement coils. The Amplecig Mace-X Tank is about 37 bucks. The replacement coils come 3 at a time, and they're about 12 bucks, 11.70, and that's at the time of this live show, which is on May the 23rd. Is it 22nd or 23rd, y'all? May the 23rd, 2018. Hello and welcome. So this thing is over at Heaven Gifts. There's a link in the description, like I said. Let's open it up, and we'll talk about some of the things. What it is it's a clearomizer, and the clearomizer means that you replace the coils in there and you don't rebuild it. And so we just replaced these. It's a lot like the Revvo in as much as it has these groovy little stamped stainless steel coils. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the focus a little bit here so we're a little bit closer. All of us together a little bit closer. Won't that be nice? Configure the video. And so I'm going to move that down here a little bit closer. I can show you, and we'll see a clean one too. This is a spent coil, and I always show spent coils. I want to thank Ample for sending a spare pack of coils for me to destroy. And you'll see that it looks just like the Revvo here. These are packed up cotton. Here's an actual coil. And as you can see, they've included quite a bit more cotton in the design here than the Revvo guys did in theirs too. It extends from just about here to here, packed with cotton in the bottom of that. And I think that's pretty cool. These coils say that they are for 35 to 90 watts, and they're best at 50 to 70 watts. And in my opinion, oops, sorry, I hit the mic. And in my opinion, these are good at 75 watts, 70 to 75 watts. I don't like taking them much higher, but you can, but they will burn out faster. And you see that they've used basically the same type of design that the Revvo did. And I'll get into some specifics that they did right. But one of the things they did right on this tank, and let's pull out the actual tank here from the box, since we don't need to look at just the replacement coil anymore. One of the things that they did really right here is that they kept the dome height really, really, really short on this atomizer. And that's really nice. We'll open this thing up. But see, this is shrunk down inside here. And they also did another really, really right thing, and that is they kept the wall width narrow, but they made a trough at the bottom there. They made a reservoir where all of the e-liquid feeds into these 6 little channels at the bottom. And so they did a really good job of taking the opposite approach of the Revvo. It's cool. The Revvo takes an RDTA approach, which uses capillary action and cohesion and adhesion differences electronegativity just to move it up the side into the bottom disc. And these guys used an RTA approach, which is just right as well. These both work really well to get the e-liquid on the bottom all the time. And it also works with 3.6 milliliter clown glass they included. And we're going to put the clown glass on there. And you'll see how this design is superior for this because it directs all the e-liquid down into the channel at the bottom. So that's cool. They include an 810 drip tip on top. Now everything has an 810. There's no adapter that comes with this. This is wet because I had it in the ultrasonic. I want to stress to you guys again, if you get gear in the mail and it's wet, make sure you return it. So my gear is always wet because it goes in the ultrasonic and back. I say that every episode, but I just can't say that enough. And then, so here we go. It has an 810, and the 810 itself, oh, looks like we lost our power captain. Don't know what's going on there. Oh, there we go. It looks like it has an 810 on top, and the 810 is friction fit up here and O-rings on the 810, and this is horrible. I just want to tell Ample right away that this needs to change. You need to put the O-rings on the inside and get the O-rings off of these because these are out of fashion. Nobody likes these anymore. And also, there's a manufacturing flaw in mine. Can you guys see that the coating that's on here doesn't extend all the way in? So it's not, it's the quality on this has a few little tiny dings. Top, as we take it off, has a traditional top fill, but this is a top airflow atomizer. And what's great about top airflow atomizers in this case is that they've just copied OBS's design, except without the refill. You guys who use OBS engines will notice that the airflow here is channeled to go down inside this tube. The top has a nice bezel for the 810 O-ring, and this seals with an O-ring in the top. So ostensibly, you can get a fat O-ring in here, and then this reduces some of the creeping and increases the capacity. This is pretty well designed. I like what they've done in here. Here, this means that you can fill it up to the edge of this thing right here, and residual e-liquid probably won't displace too badly when you screw on the top. And so that's pretty good. Let me take the bottom off, and I'll show you guys how the airflow works in the chimney, how it connects to the coil. So you'll notice that what we were talking about as we came in here, it has a really, really, really small chimney, which I think is perfectly correct for this. I personally would rather see, this is my suggestion for Amplecig, and here's the replacement glass. The O-rings are good, and it wasn't too tough to get the O-ring over that, or to get the glass over the O-ring. And you guys will recall that some atomizers, like that Keith Solomon, we had a real bitch of a time getting the O-rings to seat the glass properly on top, but this one works all right. But you'll notice that they've chosen that they have airflow coming in around the outside here. Right there. I'm going to grab a tool to illustrate. They've got airflow coming around this with a pretty good tolerance. That right inside there is the interior airflow, and then this is where the chimney comes out. If I were them, I would flange this out right here. I would shorten this distance and flange this out a little bit to get the air to come out around the outside. You don't even need to flange it out, but I would shorten this distance as much as possible. But you see they have a short dome, and the short dome goes right into this. You're basically right on the coil. There's the end of the threads. And you'll see that we're basically right over this thing. So they couldn't do too much better, but it'd be cool if this were flanged out to be smooth. And this is the top piece. The airflow control ring is a dual cyclops. A simple dual cyclops, and we're going to pop it off here. And it's got one O-ring on the top, and all of the air is channeled into the middle down here. It's pretty clever, and it's a little bit lower weight than the OBS. If you guys will remember from my OBS engine review last year, love that atomizer so much, but I thought that there was too much mass on top, and they've reduced it here and simplified it. I kind of like this. I'm kind of a fan of this tank, to be honest, except that the flavor isn't super great. Now, we're going to get into that. Let me just take the bottom apart for you to show you. I like how it has a flat base. The 510 is kind of long, so you'll notice that this 1.5 millimeter 510 here might make this elevate a little bit above some of your mods. A few of you will care about that. I don't care too much, but I do in one case at least. This screws right into the bottom where the 510 is right there. It's a simple thing. The construction's pretty good. There's one O-ring on the bottom and it has 6 airflow or juice flow holes in the bottom. And this has been press fit onto here. I can't take this apart without destroying it on camera, and I would do that in a minute. Maybe for the live hangout, we'll take this thing and we'll rip it apart after the review is over. That'll be fun. So stick around for live, and we'll do that together. So this screws in here quite simply. I like how this is low mass. There isn't much to this. They could squeeze off even a little bit more. They did a good job of including just the bare minimum for you to be able to grab this. And that's pretty good. Right now we're going to put on the clown glass. And then we'll fill it up and we'll vape on this thing and look in the rest of the box. One thing that I recommend with this, just like I recommend with the Revvo, is that with all of these super sub-ohm flat chip coil tanks, like the Aspire Revvo and like this Ample Mace-X Tank, I think that you should switch down to a lower level of nicotine. So I switched to a 1.5. I already vape 1.5 a lot, but for this one, I'm using 1.5 almost exclusively because you get a very large amount of exposure with these tanks. And sometimes it can just feel like you're going to die of nick sickness instantly if you just do too much. So in this case, I have some delicious eaten mess from Van Gogh vapes. Say, oh, you know what? I've changed my mind. I have some delicious Amour from Van Gogh vapes, and this isn't 1.5. Oh, it's so yummy. This is raspberry yogurt. So good. So when you're filling up any clearomizer, any tank that has factory coils, put a little bit of e-liquid, and on these you do not need much. Do not saturate that. That's going to soak through just fine. And we're going to put just a bead around the bottom. Just a quick little bead, and that is going to be plenty of e-liquid for this. It's going to make a slight little mess here, but it's fine. So that's all we need. Like I said, we're switching to the clown glass. So this is 5.6 milliliters. Or maybe it's 5.4. Let me give you a real number because I'm a reviewer, right? I should get my shit together. Oh, I'm so sorry. What am I saying? 5.6. It's 2 milliliters and 3.7. So this turns it into a regular size tank. A lot of you will like the 2 milliliter tank because it's just kind of small. And then this brings it back to reality. Don't forget that what I told you about the drip tip. Because the drip tips are terrible. So I picked out one of my other drip tips. And I put this on here. It's kind of tall, but it's a great drip tip. And well, for now, we'll use this. But this is a flavor murdering drip. This is one of those drip tips that just annihilates flavor. It has terrible flavor. Hate it. I'm not using it. We're getting rid of it. Throw that thing away. It's horrible. Okay. So now, all we have to do is find a mod. And I'll show you an example of how this thing sits too high on a mod. This is my Anakin Oceanus mod. It's a great 2700 single cell. But like, look at that. That's way high. So YMMV. I've been using this thing non-stop, so it doesn't really matter which one it goes on to me. We're going to take the top off, put in a little bit of Amour, and then we're going to go back up top, and I'm going to tell you what I think. I have an actual organized list. I'll have a rational discussion of what the cons are as well. I'm going to fill this up to 3.7 milliliters because this thing sucks juice like monster. All of these chip coil style tanks suck juice like crazy. You really don't want to do that. So when you fill it up, you want to suck a little out. You want that to be flush with the top. But their top is pretty well designed, and this little pointy thing will push e-liquid away to the sides, back down into those holes. Good design, guys. There's a few things about this that are like, I appreciate the fact that somebody tried to keep the mass down low. And that's one thing that Aspire did. There isn't as much engineering in this as there is in the Revvo by a long shot. But there is good engineering in this. There are good ideas. Okay, you see bubbles? You know when we see bubbles, we are happy. Right? So what does that mean, guys? What that means is that the air inside is coming out, and the e-liquid is going inside there to soak our coils up. So we're just going to wait for this process to make its way, to do its thing. That is a very good thing. I see good airflow in this thing. The thing works well physically. Choosing to use the RTA design where it goes on the bottom, That is just a really good thing. Come on, keep going. And what do I have this on? I have this on 50 watts. It says 35 to 90 watts, best 50 to 75. Let's verify that. 35 to 90, best 50 to 75. So let's go back up here and we'll vape on this thing. We're at 50 right now. The air bubbles are almost through. Make sure the airflow is open. The airflow will turn either way, but I recommend that you go in the tightening direction and not a loosening direction because you can unscrew the bottom here pretty easily. That's one thing. These chip coils all give you a different dimension of the flavor. They're very airy vape. And so it isn't that there isn't flavor, it's that there's such a lot of air with these. Even when you turn the air down low for a more concentrated vape, all these chip coil vapes are always more airy than a solid wire clearomizer coil like a TFV8. So just so you know that they just aren't quite the same. They suck a lot of juice and they put a lot of vape into you. And that's good. I think this thing has some pros and cons. I'll tell you some pros and cons that I've got of this thing. The flavor on this thing is pretty good, but it isn't quite where the Revvo and the TFV8 are. So I think the flavor is good on this thing. I like this tank, but it isn't quite way up there, especially with their stock drip tip. You got to replace that. I like how they copied the OBS airflow in this thing. Like, I think that the OBS airflow is really good. And they obviously like sort of got it and took the right part of that. And the top airflow works well in this RTA style tank. They didn't copy the OBS fill system, which I think is a good thing. And so that reduced some of the weight of this. I like the coils. I like how they changed the wicking thing. I like that this is also a slightly higher resistance coil. And you guys will notice, let's go down to the desk cam here. We're at 0.32, and that should be about 0.27. So we're getting a weird reading on this Oceanus. I'm going to try something else just for illustrative purposes for y'all. I've got oh, this is almost dead, but it'll read the settings well. The Aspire Speedstar. It says no atomizer. So what that tells me is, oh, it's back. So 0.27. It's reading correctly now. So this should be 0.27. I'm going to put this on, yeah, okay, that's fine. Watts. And we'll see how that goes. It's better. So now it's reading the correct ohm reading. Before we did this, I just didn't make a note. And it looks like I had it a little bit unscrewed on there. Did you notice how we screwed it back down? And you have to make sure. So in this thing, I've noticed that while you're using it, it is a little bit easy to actually unseat that bottom coil a little bit just while you're using it. You can turn this thing, and look, we've turned just the top. So make sure that you grab it by the bottom in the knurling when you do this. And you'll notice I'm having trouble right now doing this. And I'm going to actually use a napkin and do some other stuff. Yeah, I haven't succeeded here. And I don't have a tool on me now. So for now, look, it's a con. It gets a little bit tight on the bottom. And see, no big deal. So what I recommend you do is just know this and screw the crap out of this bottom part before you put it together. And this is something that's been happening to me for a while, and it's one of the only little nitpicky cons I have about this thing as far as how mechanically it works. The rest of it works pretty well. Just don't screw it down too tight. But so, right now, it's a little on the spitty side. I need to get something with more batteries. But I like how they picked the RTA style wicking and made it all go down into the 6 holes, and I think it works pretty well. There's just enough knurling at the bottom to hold the thing, but I wish it would screw down a little bit tighter or more securely together like you guys just saw, because it isn't a huge problem or anything. But sometimes I feel like I'm pulling off the top and I have to go, oh, it's much less of a problem with the straight glass because that's easy to get on and off. This thing is better at lower watts than the Revvo, and let me show you guys an example. It's one of the things I like about it is here I am with my 2700 battery, single cell. And you saw that I was using this on the Oceanus. And it just works okay. Like, let's just go to 60 watts. That isn't especially huge. This thing vapes well. Taste is fine. You need to turn down the air. Cannot vape with the air fully up like that at 70 watts or 65 watts. So the guys at Amplecig have chosen a slightly higher resistance coil, and it's a little bit more battery efficient, and it works better on single cell mods. So I like that a lot. I actually carry this on single cell mods quite a bit and run around vaping, and that's cool. For me, that's a little bit of a cool feature. The other thing is that just like the Revvo, the coils last forever on this thing. Like, they last for a long time. Like I told you guys, for the after party here, we're gonna tear this thing apart and I'll show you guys. But overall, these things last almost as well as the Revvo. I'd say you're gonna get at least a week out of these, probably 2, and they don't burn out very well. Only after, like, I mean, I had one coil in there for 3 weeks, and so that was a long time, and I just at the very end of it started thinking, that's kind of weird. And this one that I took out over here isn't even really burnt out. It's just one that was done. I wanted to show you one that was spent. The other one I lost, unfortunately, the 3-week coil. So there's a chance that's it, and I switched them, but I don't think so. It also doesn't leak or weep. This thing is one of those ones when they say it doesn't leak, it's actually true. The only chance you stand of having it leak is if you accidentally unscrew the glass, like you see that it's so easy to do. Which, am I going to do it again? Nope, there we go. We got it out. No, don't do it again. So I like this thing on single battery mods. I'm going to screw this down yet again, even tighter. To me, the glass doesn't fit very tightly. And so I like this thing, but it's weird. But let's get to some cons, because it does have some cons. Like, you're seeing how the glass doesn't fit very tightly. It's a pretty airy vape. And so, like I said, the flavor is never going to be quite up there with, I think, like Cledo 120. Almost, but it's good. It's not quite as good as the Revvo, in my opinion. But it's still pretty good. I like it. The drip tips with O-rings on them are really dated. Nobody wants to see this anymore, ever, pretty much. So we all want to have them so that the O-rings are on the inside of the thing here. To me, you need to put O-rings on the inside, like I said there. And it's too expensive. This thing is $37. It's just too expensive. And the replacement coils are $12 for a 3-pack. So that's not bad. I'm not whining about 4 times 3. I mean, that's okay. This is a 3-pack that you get as the replacement. And I'm happy with this. You get a box. They have individually wrapped coils in them. So the value of this is good. The replacement coils, 3 for $12, because these things last a long time. And I guess you can make an argument that your coils are going to last a long time. But for $37, $40 is just slightly too much for me for this. I think that you guys should be paying more like $30 instead of $40 for this thing. But it's not a super expensive tank. So, you know, like I said, this is a good tank. I recommend it. I think it's good. Recommend it. Buy it. Try it. Tell me what you think. Do you guys like the stainless steel chip tank type coils like these in the Revvo? Or not? Do you like Cledo 120, TFV8s? Do you like RDAs only? Tell me now. Tell me in the description. All of you guys, we're going to cut to the end of the show here and wrap up the live portion. And we're going to have a live hangout. Stick around if you're here. And for the replay, you guys come back and say us live every Wednesday, every Saturday. I'm Eli Juicy Jones. This is Orbital Vaping Headquarters. Thanks. Make sure you click on like and subscribe if you like this content. And we will see you next week. Saturday. Hey, y'all. So let's tear this coil apart. What do you guys think? Tell me what you think about the question I asked. How do you guys like this stuff? Oh, yeah, don't forget to go to West Coast Vape Expo. I guess I may have said that in the beginning. Let's rip this thing apart. Let's rip it apart, Captain. I'll forget to show you what's in the box, but you only get O-rings. I always forget something. You guys ever notice that? Always forget something. Boo, 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 boo. Did I lose you guys? You guys still there? I'm sure. So there is the coil. What? I couldn't figure out how to really tear this out. It's like What I really need is a pair of vice grips. That would be useful, guys. Didn't plan on tools, guys. Nobody said tools. Hey, Juice. I've only got one pair of pliers. If I had two, this would be easier. Because I think this is friction fit. Dr. Delphi, worth if you have a Revvo? Oh, I don't know. Only if you're curious and have extra money. Not really. It's good, though. I don't think it's a killer, but it's a good alternative. For the first time, there's an alternative that's decent. There we go. Found them. Okay, we'll just get a little bit more distance there. Okay. Okay, we took a chunk out of it. There's a start. It's not coming apart though. Have you noticed? Look, it's coming. There's a seam there. It's coming. It's like, I think that friction fit is really good, and they may have put something in there. That is definitely not just kindly coming apart. It's ripping the top off. Not exactly what I thought it was going to happen, actually. So it's interesting. Let's try something like a flat underneath. Yeah, there we go. So there's the coil. Heavy metal. Those were connected right there. Ripping that out. These did not work on temperature control. So like the Revvo, there's pads. They use cotton pads on the top. Better be organic. And the big cotton wad. And you see how they have a big cotton wad in there. I mean, they have learned their lesson. Aspire uses a cool, like, you know, almost Japanese style, on-demand style of wicking with the RDTA design. And these guys went for an RTA approach, which works very well. But you see how simple that is? They have 6 holes. There's no way to rewick this without destroying it. And they put that stuff in there, put the cotton on, and they clamp it down. They just go friction fit. So they found a way to manufacture them pretty reasonably. So I like this thing, honestly. It's a little bit over-engineered in the coil department, but they had to do this to make it work. I don't think it's over-engineered, I guess I should say. It's just they had to put a lot of work in this. Let's get the focus down there so it actually looks cool, huh? Terrible right now. Yep. Yep. So that's pretty fun, huh? That didn't take long. I'm gonna throw all that stuff away. Maybe I'll take a picture of it. Not bad. I like it. Hey, James. All right. I'm not sure if they could easily make this rebuildable. They could make it rebuildable. They would have to add another thread. And they would also then have to sell you, well, no, they wouldn't. You know, they could make it sort of like the iJoy. Because you know how the iJoy, which I don't have sitting right here, yeah, dude. You know how the iJoy has the little coils. Oh, I can't take that off right now, but has the little coils inside where you can just replace. It could do something like that. I see what you mean. Not too bad. That is pretty cool. That is pretty groovy. So other stuff going on. We're redecorating our porch. We're getting our scooters fixed up. What are all of y'all up to? Do you guys want to see my scooter that I found downstairs? My girlfriend has this Honda Metropolitan 2003, and it was just sitting down behind the car. And I am going to turn it into a scooter that works. It's going to the shop tomorrow. I put a new battery in it. Trying to get the previews up here for the. Put some pictures. We'll start with numbers. Come on. There we go. Preview. Yeah, can't quite find one. Yeah, she has a Honda Metropolitan 2003. It's really great. It's really fun. We've had a really good time. We're getting it fixed up. I got a new helmet yesterday. I haven't had a bike since 2003 or 4 and 2002 or 3 or 4. I can't remember exactly. And my last one was a 79 Honda CM400. CM450. It was awesome. Love that thing so much. Or CB, I can't remember. CM450. Oh, I love that thing so much. I can't remember exactly which it was. I had that bike a long time. I really love that bike. I totally ran through an entire winter in Denver through 2 blizzards and everything in that bike, and I had to ride. I remember riding from Denver to Boulder through an actual blizzard one year, and that was crazy. Terrible snow, but my friend was only in town for a weekend. I had to visor open, snowboard mitts. I used to commute to work every single day in -8 degrees Fahrenheit weather. I know that because the bank thing would tell me the temperature. And -8 is like -22 centigrade. So -22 centipede, or centipede, Celsius. And it is so cold. So freezing. I don't know if you guys know, but -40 is the same in centigrade and in Fahrenheit. So Juice Man says, have a well with pins sticking up, circular piece of. Yeah, it could be. That would be too big for this, but you guys, like I said, I think you could still do something similar. It's definitely a good idea. Just catching up on chat there. You know, one thing I didn't do today was put on the low latency chat, and so it kind of disrupts our conversations. It takes like 40 seconds now. A few months ago, they added a new option, which is low latency chat. Every single show, I have to individually go in there and click that. YouTube Live is terrible, guys. I mean, I have so many live episodes, and they treat the interface like it's something that you do gingerly once a month, you know. But man, for somebody who does 2 live shows a week, like I do, and has been doing it for 3 years, their interface is horrible. It is not meant for managing live videos. It's meant for managing pre-recorded videos, which you would think it would be the same, but they just don't really care. Dude Man wants a motorcycle with a sidecar. We've been looking at scooter sidecars for the dog, and that would be rad. Would love that. Juice Man ordered his own boy OC Squonk mod and the Capo 216 Squonk mod. Nice. I've become such a big Squonk maniac around here. As you guys know, I'm married to this Capo with my Cali on here, and I also am just married to this thing now too. You guys know that my last episode was all about this. You should go check it out if you haven't seen it. But I am absolutely just so in love with this thing. I use it all the time. I'm gonna switch to this for fun. There's no reason to switch, but in fact, one of the things I like about the Twisted Messes is that it's lightweight. So I think I'm actually going to stay with it. Now I'll do it for fun. But these are so great. And it gets great battery life. And you have 30 amp batteries with your 2700s. The refill kit, this thing is awesome. Because to fill it up, well, you saw the video. Go watch my video, but it was really fun. I love this thing. That's what I've been doing. Hey, Tommy V, it's great to see you. And David asking if the dogs would wear goggles. And that's a great question. I do not know. 80 watts is too much, although it's fine. I'm going to go back to 50. This man says he has the Mesh Pro Squonk RDA coming. I'm not sure what the Mesh Pro one is. Not sure exactly which one that one is. Sounds familiar, though. I gotta know. I gotta know. It's pretty exciting. It's been a great day. It's been a great weekend. Like I said, we're trying to get our entire patio and everything set up for the summer. And we're trying to go scooter riding. If any of you guys are in Seattle, if anyone's in Seattle, send me an email or something, and we will go scooter riding together, and maybe go to some vape shots. I'm thinking about setting up a little live camera thing for it and running around, and then taking the helmet off and vaping and putting it back and riding. I don't know. For those of you who ride, how many of you who have modular helmets? Just curious. I'm guessing not that many. I'm guessing I don't know one person with a modular helmet. It's just a feeling I've got. But what else in Orbital Vaping Headquarters? We're going to West Coast Vape Expo. Dr. Dolphy, you can see my video where I show you how to fill with these things, and it's similar to that. That's not the whole procedure, but yeah, that's part of it. Definitely part of it. Sometimes I wonder if you guys watch my show. Considering I cover things. Okay. And in fact, that's what I love about this thing is that but the thing is you can't just hold it upside down and fill it. That's not how it works. You have to create an air pressure differential. So the procedure for this, I mean, like I said, I showed you guys in the video. You put this on, squeeze all the air out of this, turn it upside down, squeeze it, and then when it's full, you turn it upside down and take it off. That's the short version. That's the Reader's Digest condensed version. But you have to go through those steps exactly, because otherwise it'll get wonky. And if you do screw it up, it'll just gush all the e-liquid that you put into it back out. See siphoning in Wikipedia. It uses the exact same stuff. Exact same scientific principles, as it were, which is pretty funny. The siphoning part is like so funny. The first couple of times I did that because there aren't any instructions, and I thought it was like the Aspire, because the Aspire engineers included a little valve in the top of this thing that it doesn't actually it vents when you stick the thing in there. It like pushes through and vents the air itself. Clever, clever, those Aspire guys. But the guys over at Pulse just weren't quite there. But that design that they've got, this one with the squeeze upside down, is the funnest way to fill, and it's fast. It's like the fastest. The Aspire one is not fast. This is so fast because it uses air pressure. You squeeze the air out, like if you turn it, like, what's the procedure again? It's like you screw it on, turn it upside down, squeeze all the air out, turn it upside down and squeeze it. And then when it's full, you turn it upside down and empty it. It feels like that. Like it fills so fast. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, if you just hold it and do it upside down, then you'll just keep refilling it. You know, like even now it's getting a little unfull. Is it? This thing, you go through a lot of e-liquid with these things. This is the best system. Like nobody else has really nailed this. Part of the reason is because that system that we're talking about, Dr. Dolphy, this system here is just so quick. I mean, you've got one, I guess, and you know it is so fast. It is so fast to refill your e-liquid. I over-squonked. Let's just squonk. I'm squonking. But one thing I like about the Pulse kit is that the Pulse kit has a real large diameter pulse thing. And so it's really nice. Hey, there's our buddy Jim. And Jim, you gave me 10 pounds too. I love Jim Boctration. Just wanted to tell you guys that all the donations and stuff you send in go straight towards this kind of stuff. It was our good friend Rich Jaw that sent me this mod because I couldn't afford it. And without him, I couldn't have been able to review it and know what a great thing it is too. And tell you guys, get one. Don't over squonk. Don't be like me. Be like Jim, who's pro. Everybody say hi to Jim. You're the best, buddy. My God, I made a big mess. I over squonked on purpose. I did it on purpose, I swear, man. This is killer. So everybody, Michaela, I want to know what you think about your Avenger after a little while here. I like mine, but it's a little bit heavy, and I think that the voice stuff is a little bit silly because I have to yell at it. But sitting at home, I might have a better... Yeah, in fact, the only time I really have trouble with is when I'm out on the road. Anyway, I want to know what you think. And how many of you guys have the Pulse kit, the Pulse refill kit here? Just curious. I never did an official survey. Yeah, Jim, we're doing okay. It's so great to see you. Hope the UK is doing great. All of you in the UK. Hope M's puppy's okay. Michaela, I hope those cute puppies are okay. I want to see them. Scritch. Sadie is so stoked because we're working on the patio, and she doesn't really like the the artificial grass we put down yet. So maybe when it gets cooler. I get it though. I mean, it's kind of plasticky. It's a little bit like that. Yeah, Jim, that's so great to see you. We were just squonk talking. Talk squonking. These refill systems are pretty fun. I'm having to completely clean this thing because it's like crazy. I way over squonked. You guys saw it. You saw. You marveled. Got to get the video configurator back up. For some reason it disappears on me. Yeah, there we go. Ah. So I way over squonked. Oh, Juice Man has alcohol wipes. You are so right, dude. You are so right. I have those in the kitchen, baby. But yeah, you're dead right about that. Alcohol wipes are great. The reason I use paper towels on the desk here is because we're obviously a heavy scientific operation and I dump pile. But yeah. And alcohol wipes also, I keep those near the kitchen, and I wipe off my mobile phone. I take the case off and I rinse the case in water because it's made of plastic, and I rub a little alcohol wipe over my phone every few days. I don't know about you guys do that. I do. David says he felt like the voice would be fun for about a week. True. Jim says he's been busy with work, so he hasn't been around chat too much, but I am glad to see you, buddy. He's using his Lost Vape drone Squonk and Pulse 24. Squonk and watching. That sounds good. That sounds really good. I had my Pulse on this guy, and it is great, actually, but the problem was that my .09 build that I had on here with the 2700 batteries was fine, but it was a battery killer. So I was joking with Michaela, who also got one of these. That's right, Michaela, I want you to start talking about yours too. And Michaela also, we were joking about this in Discord, she and I was telling her how the first day I got it, she was like, "Do you like it? What do you think?" You know, because I was like trying to use it, and I wanted to get to use it so I could tell her what I thought. And so I put on like my Pulse on there, and it was just funny because for the first day it annihilated the battery. So of course I knew that would happen. So anyway, I put other stuff on there, and I get good battery life with this. And I wanted to know, Michaela, do you get good battery life with your Pulse? Everybody else who owns these, what kind of battery life do you get? I get good battery life. But remember, I use 2700 batteries, obviously. But I definitely am curious what you guys think. And Michaela said she got the other color too, so I'm a little bit jealous too, because I like mine a lot. But I'm not gonna lie, this thing doesn't pop as much as you think. That's another thing I haven't asked Michaela about yet. Like, is yours a little bit disappointing in the finish? Because she got the other one, which is nice. But I expected it to be a little bit either shinier or maybe a little bit more saturated. As it is now, it's awesome. But that's like the funnest part of the whole thing, just that one spot. I kind of expected the whole thing to be like that. Very curious what you guys think. Get back to vaping. Get back to vaping. Now I've over squonked. Huh, Joshua. Thank you. Sorry, I was in the middle of a good vape. This is on 80 watts. It's a little bit too much for this because the air is all the way up, but it's kind of good. I got a little bit hypnotized there and got a little bit lost enjoying that flavor that I have in here. What's in here is Van Gogh vapes. It's not churros. It's oh, it's not churros. It's it is. It's churros. Van Gogh vapes churros from the new bakery line. It's so smooth. Oh, Michaela says she gets great battery life. Okay, good. Good. I'm so glad. What all stuff have you put on there, Michaela, by the way? Have you like thrown everything on there? I put that one really low dual on there at first, and I put my Cali on it that has a single, but since then I've been doing 0.17 or higher, mostly 0.2 or 0.3 single coils. I'm curious what you're doing. That's where I get the sweetest vape on my batteries. But I'm curious what you've thrown on there too. I'd like to know. And my puppies too. Oh, so Michaela says she got the seaweed green, and it's very bright and vibrant. Yeah, so I am a little bit disappointed. But you know what? What's great about this is that these are replaceable. So for, I don't know how much, but I'll order some new ones. Michaela, do you push your battery out of here? That's what I do. I'm going to move the focus back a little bit because I see the damn thing. Yeah. It's fun having this conversation. I'm Eli Juicy Jones. This is Orbital Vaping Headquarters. It is about 45 minutes into the show. We're going to hang out about another 10 minutes. But if you just tuned in, this is Orbital Vaping Headquarters. You're watching VapeAM Wednesday morning, and we're here twice a week. We are here at 8 o'clock on Wednesday and Saturday, and we talk about vape, trying to get old and not die of cancer, and help people quit smoking, make a community, and understand the science and how vaping works, the mechanics of it. So thanks all y'all for tuning in. We're not going right now. It's going to be another few minutes, but we're going to wrap it up here pretty soon. So your seaweed green was bright and vibrant. I think that is great. I'm like a big fan of these guys. I carry this all the time, and I'll tell you why, guys, because this is lightweight. This thing is pocketable. It doesn't do this. Juice Man, yeah, check out my last episode. It's not a mech. This is the regulated Pulse 80 watt from Vandy Vape. And I just did a whole video on this with the new Vandy chip. And I went through all the chips and everything. Got like power step modes. It's got direct voltage mode. It's cool. This thing is great. Love this thing. A whole breakdown video. I think it was the last episode. Jim, is there a difference between using a Sanyo 2700A and an iJoy? Yeah, there is. The Sanyo 2700As are, the mooch difference in them is that these are 30 amp. Is that right? They're 25 amp. And I think the Sanyos are 30 amp. But it might be 30 and 35. I can find out for you exactly, Jim. But if you check the mooch ratings, there's a little bit difference in the amp ratings. And the Sanyos have, on paper, better mAh ratings. And they've lasted better, I can tell you from experience. So I think iJoy is getting the A- batteries, and those Sanyos are like the A+ batteries, or B+ batteries and A- batteries rather. And so I can check it out here for you, but it's really just a mooch check to know the exact difference. And I have in the description, I think, a link to the actual mooch lists. So I'll just take a look real quick and see here. My description of the video. Did I take those out? Yeah, I took them out because they were getting outdated. And here's the charts. I'm going to go for 2700. Here's the 2700A. 30 amp, 3100 mAh. $30 amp, 3100 mAh. Well, no, you know what? Oh, hold on a second. Just 1 second. I'm still looking for the review, Jim, for the iJoys. The 40 amp one is a joke. There's 2 iJoys. The 5 legs are the good ones. Let me see what it says. I've got billions of these laying around. Yeah, the 40 amp 3000 mAh, these are actually, they're almost as good. Okay, here's the results, Jim. These are 30 amp 3000 mAh, and as you can see, mine after a year are still operating over spec. 30 amp 3000 mAh. These are 30 amp, no, these are 3100 mAh, and this one came a little bit, so after a year it's doing okay. This is 30 amp 3000 mAh, so it's a little bit, not quite as good. It has a slightly worse insulator But make sure that you're using the 5 legs. But yeah, they're pretty equivalent, Jim. They're close to equivalent. You get a little bit better battery life out of the Sanyos. And what I've noticed is that all my Sanyos are consistently good, and my iJoys are a little bit all over the map. I hope that answered your question. It's fun to look stuff up together. All good. That one back in the charger. Let's see. Gembox Racing, you nailed it right there. Both 30 amp. Sanyo had slightly more mAh and better internal resistance. Thank you. You just summarized it. You saved me the trouble. And there you go. And it's the 5 legs for sure. And thanks, Leighton. You're right. You guys should share my videos. We're going to be at West Coast Vape Expo. Like and share. Tell everybody all about it. Josh is saying he's wondering if he has a build that supports 30 amp batteries, but someone said the batteries were normally like 10 amp lower than the actual 30 amp. On Josh Weist, on the iJoy batteries, if they're the 5 leg, you're golden. If they're the 5 leg, you're golden, buddy. So don't worry about that. If they're the 4 leg, then throw them take them to Home Depot. Get rid of them. But these 5 legs, you'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 leg batteries, 30 amps, 3,000 mAh. That's a lie. It says 40, but it's actually 30. So you're good to go. 30 amps. But remember, it gets worse over time. So over time, you might want to target a 25 amp battery after a few months, and then maybe get some replacements. Like after 6 months or so, operating them at their limit. No, I'm going to say about a year, but you might want to just check them on your charger, because the iJoy ones, like I said, the iJoy ones are less consistent than the 2700As from Sanyo. It's one of those things. I'll tell you one thing I've really been pleased about lately, and I don't know which mod has them in there, but it is these. Nope, not that one. 21700s. Samsung 30Ts. There it is. The Samsung 30T. This is an incredible freaking battery. Incredible battery. It has amazing life on it. It's like 300 mAh or something. So I love these. They have great amp limits. They're really good. Okay, so we're approaching the end of our, of course, dual battery. Thanks for specifying that. If it's dual battery, you have no problems, dude. You have no problems. If it's dual, you're golden. You're golden with iJoy batteries. No, it should be no problem. I don't want to say never, 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 because I don't know what will happen in the world. We all know sometimes things happen. But to me, I would take that chance because I believe it sounds good to me. But you guys in the audience also chime in. I think you'll probably agree. We're having a not enough video, but we're trying. Okay, so it is 51 minutes after the hour. We got to run after this. It's 9:36 now. We started late, so I've got the time all mixed up. So we get to run here about an hour in. I love all you guys. Join us on Discord. Click on the link in the description and chat with us. And join us at West Coast Vape Expo. You know, I love all you guys. It's really great. We'll see you on Saturday. And Josh, make sure you follow up with me. Tell me what you do with your build. I think you should be okay, but you can go to Discord. Okay, so let me find a vape. You guys are great. Thanks for watching this review of the Mace-X Tank. I thought it was fun. Yeah, thank you.